What's going on, traders? How we doing? You made it to the one, the only SPACs Attack. We got some earnings to get into. We're going to go into each one, point out the major, kind of the major numbers to focus on. We'll talk about these SPACs. We're going to get into some headlines. And guess what, guys? I'm here by myself today. So if you guys could do me the favor, hit that thumbs up and let's get this party started. What's going on out there? How's my SPAC family doing? What's up? What's up? How we doing out there? It's good to see you. Yes, she is checking out on the boys. You already know. Hey, she's seeing the earnings. She's focusing on it. We got to focus on it also, guys. Smash that thumbs up. Let's get it going. SPACs have been in the gutter since March. Deprue. Then why am I making money, guys? I mean, at the end of the day, I know that SPACs have been, overall going down. But at the end of the day, I'm up 30% since just this month. So, I mean, it's up to you guys. You guys got to try to find the right ones. It's all about timing in these. You're never going to be perfect. But definitely to say that they're all bad, I don't think they're all bad because, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to have that money. All right, man. We already want to know. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the show. We're going to talk about some headlines, and then we'll get into the middle part where we'll talk about these earnings. Like always, guys, give me a thumbs up. I'm here by myself today, so got to do it all. Got to do it all, the back work, the front work. We're going to go ahead and get you guys the information that you guys need to be informed traders. Let's go ahead and take us back to the headlines. All right, guys, so I'm going to be putting up the banners at the same time, reading them here. So let's go ahead and let's get into these. First one up we have is going to be kind of not what we want to be seeing, but the TWN deal, TWND deal with QOMPLX is actually called off. This is about the second time, really. They pushed back the merger meeting twice. And I mean, this just doesn't look good. Doesn't look like it's going to work out here, but we'll definitely be focusing to see what happens with that. NSH and SPIR deal closed with over 91% redeemed. You know, Chris and I have been pointing out this, and Chris has been doing great with the redemptions and actually getting these on the redemption, noticing that the float goes very low. And when you get the float to go low, that's usually when you get these price spikes, right? Because someone can pump it very easily with a low float. Let's go ahead and the next one up. CFA and LiDAR deal closed 19.4 million shares, 84.2% redeemed. So definitely a little bit lower than, like above 90s, but that's still pretty high at 84.2%. We'll see how this deal kind of comes out of this. Do we get that boom breakout? We'll see if we get that. Next one up will be, we got the RMGB shareholders approve RNW deal, 23.6 million, 68.4% redeemed, closing on August 23rd. So doesn't close for right now. So keep your eyes on this one. Eventually going into the switchover, you could see that pop, but 68.4% redeemed. A lot less than, let's say, how we saw in NSH with 91% redeemed. So it looks like we also got Ajax Kazoo that got redeemed at 72.3%, 58.2 million shares redeemed there. That's a little bit higher, where we want to see it. If it gets above that 70 mark, I think that's where you start seeing it being high shared redemption, which could affect the float, which if it affects the float with a little bit of a push of volume, you could get that rotation of float and really start pushing the stock. We'll keep an eye out on this as we've been seeing this kind of become a strategy. Let's go ahead. Let's keep it going. Let's get into some of these kind of our deal for the day. We got MBAC MBAC deal here. So pretty much they're going to go ahead and team up here with Cineverse. I don't have this banner up here, so let me get this up here. All right, so that's the deal right now, guys. We're going to see the MBAC deal with Cineverse. That's a leading provider of mission-critical mobile platform for carriers and enterprise. The 21 projection revenue of 678 million, a 22 projection of 780 million, and a 2.85 billion valuation, 265 million pipe, and it's backed by 500 million from Twilio. So it at least has some good backing there. We'll see if this kind of deal works out and does for the best. Let's get into some of the earnings now. That's what I really want to get into. We got a lot to talk about in the earnings. First one up we're going to talk about is Zell. So ZEV. You guys have been seeing this stock rip lately. Let me go ahead and pull up the chart here. Doing a little bit extra today since I don't have Chris, but hey, we're not going to run away. We're going to stay here and run it. All right, guys. So here you guys have the chart ZEV. So pretty much Lightning eMotors reports financial results for the second quarter of 2021. They had a record second quarter revenue of 5.9 million compared to 0.9 million for the prior year period, increasing by 580% year over year. Like always, it's kind of hard when you focus on the year over year number. Let's focus more on that they made 5.9 million versus less than a million a year prior. The sales of 37 zero emission vehicles powertrain system increasing over 300% year over year. Gross loss was actually the gross loss was actually at 1.1 million compared to 0.6 million in the prior year. Gross margins actually improved to a loss of 19% versus 63% in the negative prior year. Net loss was 46.1 million compared to the net loss of 2.8 million during the prior year. Basic and diluted net loss per share was at 79 cents compared to 10 cents the prior year. Now, one thing that they did talk about is that they announced strategic partnerships with the Forest River valued at $850 million. This is going to help. Tim Reese, the CEO of Lightning eMotors, said that in Q2, we are able to mitigate several supply chain constraints and sell 37 power strain system. Our Q2 revenue was constrained by the supply chain challenges, which we are now working to remedy through the addition of new suppliers. So pretty much they ran into some supply issues, and that's why maybe the numbers weren't as high as they could have been, but talking that they're looking to fix this issue. Notably, we're in the final stage of negotiation and technical integration and validation with one of the largest worldwide battery supplier, which we believe will mitigate our supply constraints in 2022. So they talked about how they're talking to one of the largest suppliers to go ahead and solve that issue. If they're able to solve that supply issue, then maybe they can go ahead and meet the demand. The Lightning eMotor and Rev Group subsidies to produce electric ambulance. DHL Express deploy nearly 100 Lightning eMotor electric vans. So definitely a stock to keep on watch. Next up, we're going to talk about DNMR. So DNMR Scientific. Not a bad little push today. Good volume, pushing right off that 14, getting back up there to 15. This is one to keep on watch because it went all the way up there to $64. I'm actually going to put this one on my radar, see if we can come back or kind of break out from these marks. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the earnings here. They reported quarterly earnings of 39 cents in the green here, which actually beat the analyst consensus of a loss of 7 cents. So that's a massive surprise there. And this is what we wanted to pay attention to in SPACs. When we get these surprise earnings, let's see how this stock reacts. The company's reported quarterly sales of 14.5 million, which beat the analyst consensus of 11.8. So another really good beat. In June, DNMR successfully completed the debottlenecking initiative within its Kentucky facility to improve production and efficiency and accelerate production of NODAX towards its expectation of reaching 100% of the facility current annual run rate capacity by the end of 2021. The construction of the Kentucky plant extension continues on schedule, and phase 2 is still expected to come online in the second quarter of 2022. And on June 30th, 2021, the company had total debt outstanding at $29.9 million, cash of $416.4 million, and the company also had 97.732 million shares common outstanding. So not the highest share float. I mean, less than 100 million is what I consider a lower float. So at least they're not pushing too far on that. They're showing you the outstanding debt, and they're also showing you that their cash amount is pretty high there at 416 million. One of the things that they did talk about is that in June, they were awarded a U.S. patent for renewable biodegradable marking wax that serves as an alternative to the petrochemical base paraffin wax. And so this is one thing that I'll definitely say, that in the long run, this company has a lot of advantages because it's trying to move more into the green. It's trying to go ahead and give us an alternative to a lot of plastics that we normally get. I think you'll start seeing this one start bottoming out here, kind of near this 14, and we could get back up towards 20. Let's see if this one has a really good day and gets above 16 today. Next one up, we're going to talk about Strive Foods. Let's go ahead and get into that. That's SNAX. So SNAX is, still coming down. So I would definitely try to avoid this one like the plague right now. But let's go ahead and let's take a look here at their earnings. The Strive Foods announced second quarter 2021 results. Net sales increased 71.8% year over year. Gross profits increased 148% year over year to $3.6 million. Not the worst gross profit there, but let's go into a little bit more of their financials. Their net sales increased to $7.4 million, representing a 71.8% growth. The gross profit increased $3.6 million, representing 148.3% growth, and gross margins increased to 48.7% compared to the gross margin of 33.7% in the prior year. Strong wholesale gains contributing to 46.6% of the net sales, increasing 57% year over year, including new distribution across convenience, food, mass, and dollar channels. So pretty much getting into new distribution channels like these stores, like, kind of the food, the mass, the dollar stores, the convenience stores. This is what's giving them the advantage right now, as they show that the strong wholesales gains are contributing 45.6% of the net sales. So pretty high there. Strong e-commerce gains also contributing 38.9% of net sales, increasing 55% year over year with the growth across the DTC and Amazon. So, one of the things that we've seen a massive growth in DTC. They're definitely taking advantage of it by doing some e-commerce sales and getting 38.9% of their sales. So directly to the consumer, just selling it online. And if that works, it definitely helps the margins out. Net loss of $5.6 million compared to a net loss of $4.5 million in the prior year period. So, a little improved there. Not much. One of the things that you see there is they are increasing on their net sales and gross profit, but are they increasing enough to actually get investors' interest? And it just doesn't look like it's there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into the next one. I know people wanted to talk about Romeo. If you like Romeo or don't like Romeo, let me know in the chat. This is one that I liked a lot at the beginning, and this is how it's going to happen, guys. So definitely we'll be paying attention to see what happens with Romeo, but a nice dip there. All right, let's go ahead and pull up here. Their earnings really weren't that great. Let's pull up the chart. They reported quarterly losses of 22 cents per share, which missed the analyst consensus of 16 cents at a loss there. So definitely a worse earnings there. Actually, by 37.5%. The company reported quarterly sales of $926 thousand, which missed the analyst consensus of 3.05 million. This is actually a big number there. If their quarterly sales didn't even reach a million and they were expected to reach 3.05 million, we're talking about they missed the consensus there by almost 70%. That is pretty bad there. I have to be worried for this company right now. And let's just say if I was in this company, I'd hit the out button. But that's my opinion, just because I'm seeing it right now. It's getting drilled. It's down to $4.76 today. Definitely getting crushed. They entered in a long-term supply agreement with the lithium-ion battery cells with a tier 1 battery cell material manufacturer. They progressed negotiations to validate supply and secure long-term cell supply commitments with the additional potential partners, including for future U.S. sourcing. They surpassed 750,000 miles of the Romeo Power modules and battery packs being tested on the road. They generated revenues of $926,000 for the second quarter, and the cash and cash equivalents of investments ended on June 30th, 2021 at $267.7 million. Definitely showing some struggles here. I'd be kind of worried, definitely, if I own this stock. It's kind of really a sad story, because when it started, it was a really good positive story with a lot of partnerships. But this goes to show you the story can always change. And once the story changes, if you don't adapt, the market will eat you. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into the next one, GNOG. I'm sorry that I'm not catching up too much with the chat right now. I'll catch up with the chat in a second here. Just trying to do my best to get through these, and then we can go ahead and have a conversation about certain ones. GNOG here, they reported their second half and first half of 2021. Second quarter, the revenue for the second quarter was at 31.7 million, representing an increase of 27.7 million compared to 24.8 million during the second quarter of 2020. The revenues for the first half of 2021 increased 38.6 to 58.4 million compared to 42.2 million during the first half of 2020. Now, one of the things, of course, is their net loss. What was it at? Their net loss in the second quarter was 1.6 million compared to a net income of 0.1 million in the prior year. Net income for the first half of 2021 was actually 68.1 million compared to a net income of 4.3 million during the prior year period. Adjusted EBITDA for the second quarter was at a loss of 3.8 million compared to an adjusted EBITDA of 8.5 million for the second quarter of 2020. The active first-time depositors, a very important number for kind of sports betting platform, for the second quarter grew 110% compared to the second quarter of 2020, while 12-month active depositors grew 108% for the first half of the year. Active first-time depositors grew 313% compared to the first half of 2020. Now, one thing to state is that the GNOG Android app is now available in Google Play stores across New Jersey and Michigan. New Jersey works continues on completing the 1,800 square feet expansion of our live dealer studio, which would increase the capacity from 18 tables to 33 tables. The studio's expansion is expected to be live by the end of the third quarter in 2021. Successful launch of live dealer in Michigan on July 22nd, among the first wave of operators growing on the online casino offering. So they're coming out with offerings all over the place. And of course, we can't not talk about that they entered into that definitive agreement with DraftKings to pursue. So GNOG will be actually acquired in an all-stock transaction with an implied equity value of approximately $1.56 billion. Waiting on, of course, the approval of GNOG. And the transaction is actually expected to close in the first quarter of 2022. All right, let's go ahead and let's catch up with the chat. What's going on out there? What are you guys talking about? What's important about these? Do any of these earnings reports stand out to you? And if you have one, definitely smash the thumbs up. Let's go ahead. Let's see what's up. Let's keep going. What's going on? Smash the like. You guys already know. Just bought SoFi. Oof. You guys are getting crazy out there. Body getting hits. Hey, don't worry. You got to sometimes take it. Ooh, take it. And then what? Give one back, baby. Don't forget it, John Doe. I think Body is going to come back. I'm waiting for it. And when it does, hey, I'll let you guys know. Crystal saying smash the like. You guys already know. Smash the like. Elite in the house. Talking about happy. Hey, I can't blame you guys. Let's see what others being mentioned. Bill talking about GAN. GAN's definitely a good one. I talked about that on Monday. I'm not sure how their earnings went. I have to pay attention to GAN's earnings. I didn't get a deeper look. You hate Body? AJ, don't worry then. You don't have to worry about it. Body is up today. RS is talking about. We'll definitely take a look. Check the Body chart out. All right. I got you. Let's take a look here. I want your body. I'm going to get back to the earnings in a second, but oh man, it already spiked up for us. Not a bad rip there. Ripping on up there. You guys can take a look here. I'm looking at Body. Look at that 5-minute chart. Nice little lift there from 720 about to 830s, then pulling back here to 770s. Low there was 760s. Let's see if we can finish above 8. You know, this one did come down towards $7 and got an $11 price rating. I was actually looking to see if this one could get down to $5. I was talking about it with Chris if I would buy this at $5 for sure and look for that move back up towards 11. Looks like some people are already taking a shot here at 750s. Let's see if this gets up through $8 and closes above 8 today. That's what I want to see. If not, we could head back down closer towards 750 and kind of retest that support there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into some other ones. I know that we started going and getting a little off subject, so let's get into the next one. GNOG, guys. GOEV. I know that you guys have seen this one. This one's ripped up before, had a major run before, but now has really been retracing. Now down to 646. Let's go back here. So they announced their second quarter 21 results. They reported quarterly losses of 50 cents per share, which missed the analyst's consensus, an estimate of 0.35. So 0.35 to 0.5, definitely not showing a good sign there. Deep into the red there, but they surpassed 9,500 non-binding refundable pre-orders across lifestyle vehicles, pickup truck, and multi-purpose delivery vehicle. One thing to note, though, that their workforce actually increased by 230 to 656 total employees. If we think about that, just over the fourth quarter in 2020, that's a 54% increase. And now what can that do? Of course, they need to focus on trying to build. So maybe they got the right employees and they have the help needed now to really start pushing on the growth. We'll see if GNOG can get out of this kind of rut that they're in, because reportedly quarterly loss at 50 cents at a loss of 50 cents per share. That's definitely not what we want to be seeing for GNOG. All right, guys. Crypto, I think you're in the wrong show, but not a problem. If you can't take what crypto volatility hits me, stock volume is a piece of cake. I guess, yeah. You know, if you're that good at crypto, I guess stocks are easy. I guess that's what he's saying. Let's keep going. Let's get into the next one. Porch Group here. PRCH, guys. This one was an interesting one. I wanted to see what happened, and they had good earnings, and look how you got this hard turnaround. It kept trying to get through this $19 level. I was actually paying attention to this, was thinking about buying some puts because it looked like it was trying to head down towards support. But I haven't really tried to buy puts on SPACs, not yet, because I don't see the volume there. But let's talk about their quarterly earnings here. They actually had decent earnings. So they reported their second quarterly 2021 financial results here. Total revenue for the second quarter was $51.3 million, an increase of 200% from $17.1 million in the second quarter of 2020. Revenues less costs. Revenues costs. What did they write here? Revenues less cost of revenue. I don't know how that makes sense, but I don't know who wrote the PR there. For the second quarter was at 62%. Contributing margins were at 33%. Their net loss for the second quarter totaled $16.3 million. So let's look at some of their key performance indicators here. So that's kind of what I saw there. So let's go ahead. Let's get into some of that. So one of the things that you can clearly see is their average number increased. Their average number of companies increased 17,120, up 63% year over year. So pretty much one of their acquisitions also contributed Rhino to 1,099 companies. So pretty much giving it a good lift there. Their average revenue per company per month increased to $999.70, up 80% year over year. So they're getting more out of every company. The number of monetized services was 302,462 in quarter two 2021, up 66% year over year. Average revenue per monetized services was at $129, up 50% per year. One of the things to state, though, is that they did increase their revenue outlook from 178 million to 184 million, representing an approximately 155% year over year revenue growth. So definitely the revenue growth is increasing. Now the question is, are they going to be able to make on their margins, increase that, and really get the interest back? I mean, this stock was already pushing on up there. It was looking like it wanted to come back towards the high that we had in February, turning around hard here at 16. Let's see if it holds these 16s. If not, it looked like it could come down towards 14. All right, catching up with the chat. What's up out there? Yeah, I think there was definitely a typo there, James. Don't worry. It wasn't from me. I literally copied it from the PR. So looks like someone on the PR got hit with a typo for sure. Let's go ahead. Big Bill talking about DNMR. Like the story, lots of big boys in the stock, but not really followed by the street yet. But Stick has acted sick. But I'll tell you one thing, DNMR in the long run definitely has the right story. We're talking about porch here. Let's go ahead. I got two more actually to get through. I'm trying to get through this before 11:30 so that we can actually talk about some stocks, get into some charts, and then keep going. SoFi is dying, Derek. I'll definitely take a look at I'll take a second look when we're done with the earnings. Let's get into the next earnings report here. Next one up. We're going to talk about AST, Space Mobile here. Let's get into that. All right, so I can see this one pulling back here towards the 862. Looks like we're heading towards $8 right now. But let's take a look here at their business highlights and their second quarter financial highlights. So they confirmed the Blue Walker 3 launch timing with SpaceX from Cape Canaveral during a window beginning March 2022. They continued investments in the build-out of their Midland, Texas facility and global supplier development. They ended the second quarter with cash and cash equivalents of $402 million and had no financial debt as of June 30th, 2021. The total operating expense of $25.1 million for the second quarter of 2021 compared to $12.1 million in the first quarter of 2021, primarily due to an increase in research and development costs of $8.7 million. They incurred a $51.7 million of capitalized costs, including non-reoccurring engineering related to the Blue Walker 3 test satellite as of August 16th, 2021. They also incurred $15.7 million of total investments in property and equipment to net accumulation depreciation. So pretty much just knocking down their assets there. Nothing crazy. One of the things that is stated here is that kind of that launch in March 2022. Of course, it's going to be a big catalyst if they can get that Blue Walker 3 launch. This is going to get pushed up with SpaceX. We'll see if this one holds these lows. I think this one might head down towards 7 right now. I'm definitely going to be careful right now because space really isn't the industry that's, I think, just for pressing right now. That's why I don't like space stocks right now. I think they are on the decline, just like SPCE. I wouldn't be kind of jumping into this one right now. I think this one's heading all the way back down, maybe 20s, maybe 15s. So be careful right now with the space industry. Last one. Let's get into the last one. I want to talk about the last one here. What do we got? We got HIPO, and they raised their growth outlook here. Let me go ahead and just put up here. All right, so pretty much they raised their full year growth outlook for the total generated premiums. Q2 results reflected strategic progress to scale and diversify. Let's take a look here at HIPO's chart. Man, this one's getting drilled. This one's gone from about $10.50 all the way down to $5 right now. Their total generated premiums grew 101% to 159 million. They crossed 500 million in total generated premium in force. Their year one customer retention grew 88%, raising their full year outlook to total generated premiums of 544 million to 560 to 570 million. So pretty much, you guys know, HIPO Holdings here is a home insurance group that has created the new standard in care of protection of homeowners. So you're talking about an insurance stock. We've looked at other insurance SPACs that really have taken a hard hit. The question is, where does this one find that support? I would definitely wait for a while now. We're going down towards 5 right now. We could head down towards 4 and 3. There's nothing to say that it can't stop here. So just be careful with that one. Definitely HIPO not looking the best there as they raise their full growth outlook. But as you can see, investors are not jumping on the stock. All right, that's going to be it for the earnings. What did you guys think? If you guys had an earnings report that stood out to you, let me know in the chat. And if you don't, then also just let me know what you guys want to take a look at. We'll take a look here at the watch list, see what's moving out there, and definitely, like always, find the SPACs that are moving so that we can get you the information so you can be an informed trader. Get this running here. Let me take off that banner there for HIPO. Let's take a look here. What's up? What's not? All right. So as we can see, we don't have too much up right now. Looks like, hold on. Looks like my watch list is messing up a little bit here because I do see some stocks up about 8%. It's not pulling it up there towards the top. Looks like the ascending isn't working there, but let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit. We talked a little bit about body up there. Mile was the stock that I told you that, hey, this could head down lower than 5. Look at it. It's right now at 463. I kind of like this one, but man, it's such like catching a knife that I just don't want to take the shot right now. Let's take a look here. What other stocks are moving up? PaySafe, what's going to happen, guys? We're down towards 864. Is it going to come back and clear this kind of gap, or are we going to just kind of keep fading on the way down? Which one you guys want to talk about in the chat? I'll start taking a look there. The likes are at 69. Doesn't mean you can't tap that like button anymore. Come on, hit that like. Let's get them up there. Wow, HIPO, good night. No levels down there. Yeah, I know. That one's definitely falling over. SoFi here. Let's take a look here. I know a lot of people want to take a look at SoFi. Let's take a look. Coming down towards 1381s. It's looking to me like it wants to come down towards this low. This low here is 1205. So 1205, we could put like a mark here. That's where I think this is going to pull back to. So you just got to be careful. And one thing I would state about SoFi, this is a pure example of a stock that you don't want to get trapped in. If you got into this stock, let's say at 16, then it gaps down towards 1480s, or let's say lower than that, that's when you have to cut your losses. I can't stress this enough, guys. I'm seeing too many people get stuck with the bag. You should only get stuck with the bag. Let's say if you just got caught on a rip out and then you bought it at the top. I can kind of see how that happens. But even then, I always recommend just cutting that loss and looking to get back in. I've been seeing so many people say that, hey, I'm stuck in this name. You're never stuck. You just got to sell. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going. What other ones are being mentioned in the chat? Looks like we got NVST. That we talk about that almost on a daily. AMC. Let's not get into that. I do think it's actually good, but let's not talk about that. Victoria's Secret. I talked about that on pre-market prep. Let's not for SPACs. Let's keep going. Next one up, John Doe's talking about MTTR. Let's take a look here. The Matterport. Let's see what happened here. One of the things that I can clearly see is good amount of volume that came in on these days. So you have a low here of 1381, a low here of 1389, and today we're having a low of 1381. Yesterday we had a low of 1385. So at least we know if it breaks down underneath this, I don't want to be a part of it. But if it can hold here, get back above here with that good volume, get it back above that high. That high here is 1543, so 1550. This one could push on up there to 17 and maybe getting up there towards this wick, which is 1727. Not a bad looking chart. I think, it could come back down towards 11, but it looks like it's trying to hold these levels right here. The big thing is make sure that 1380 keeps holding. Let's go ahead. Let's keep going. What else we got in the chat being mentioned? GAN, marijuana industry. Guys, we got other shows for these. If you guys want to talk about GAN, you guys want to talk about the marijuana industry, come at 4 o'clock. Money Mitch, I always talk about gambling. I kind of can't help myself. So if you want to talk about GAN, that's where you want to go. If you want to talk about the marijuana industry, Kent, that's where you want to go. Right after that, 4:30, you got Cannabis Insiders. Definitely check that show out. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into some of these SPACs that are being mentioned in the chat. Genie being mentioned in the chat by Mark M. He mentioned also MTTR. Genie is one that I'm watching, guys. I wonder what's going to happen here. It's been a tough time right now. I'm watching the hourly chart for this one to see what's going to happen, see if we can get kind of this sideways action on the day. But let's take a look here on the 15 minutes, see what we're seeing. So we actually came down towards a low of 1669, back up above 17, went up to 1730s. Now back below 17. I really want to see this hold 17 and get back above that 17, close above that whole dollar today to make us get back up to these levels. I've been looking at this, trying to attack. And one of the things that I'd clearly look at is I kind of draw a line from here. And I really don't want it to break that line anymore. We don't want this going back to 1650s. We want it to hold here, get back above 17, and hopefully by the end of tomorrow, get above 1750, because we kind of have like a little gap down here on the 15-minute chart. Let's see if we can get back above 1750 and start trending in Genie. All right, so I'm seeing some other names being mentioned there. Did we take a look at Fisker? Well, we could take a look at that in a second. There's a lot of stocks going through here, so I'm trying to catch up with it. MVIS still being mentioned. We go through that often, so let's keep going. Carl, come at 4 o'clock if you want to talk plug. I almost bought plug today, but I was looking at it. I just didn't take it. Martin's talking about Lucid. Lucid Motors has actually been on the downturn. Let's see what happened today. Still downturning, and it doesn't look good, guys. I think this one might crack down and start heading down to further support. I tried multiple times to get into the 28s, and we couldn't get towards that level. Then we started curving here, and it looked really good. and right back down to support. When you keep testing support multiple times, what ends up happening is you crack down to the next support. I think this is what you're going to see in Lucid in the next couple of days. You're going to see a move towards 20, and you could even see a move towards 1750s. If I see that move, that's when I'd start taking a look at this. Really, I mean, the cars aren't coming out anytime soon, so I don't expect a monster move. If it was going to happen, I think it would have already happened. We were looking for this to get a nice push when the name changed over from CCIV to LCID Lucid. And now, I mean, you're just not seeing that reaction that we expected to see. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going. Carl wants to talk about RSI. I'll take a look at RSI. RSI on the pullback right now, coming down towards 1271. Low today of 1247. I'm actually looking for it to come back into the zone right here. So one of the things that I clearly saw is that we gapped up, right? We gapped up from here all the way up there. So I'm looking to see what's going to happen. Are we going to come back down into this gap area? Because if we come back in this gap area, I'm going to be looking to get some entry near, let's say, 1150 or lower. I'm willing to get back in RSI, but I'm also looking for a pullback since I sold it right here at 14. Am I glad I sold it at 14? Yeah, I mean, hindsight 2020, I mean, after the earnings, it looked like it was going to keep going, but definitely turned around there. I'm going to be looking for this move to have gone up here, pulled back, maybe bounce here, and then come back up through that 1140s. Then we attack that entry, boom, and we look for it to come back up through the 14s and then get back up through 15. We'll see if we can get that on RSI. Yes, you can sell that as an NFT. Please send it to my Venmo. I won't be mad. Won't be mad at you. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here at Fisker for James. James wants to look at Fisker. We're at 11:45. We'll be wrapping up in about 10 to 15 minutes, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the Frisky with Fisker. All right, so one of the things that I'll take a look at is 1 month charts. That's what I got to state here. And I think this is so important. Too many people are using short time frames with these, and these are long-term EV SPACs. I think you're going to see this hold somewhere down towards 13, if not 14, get back up there towards 18. Eventually, I could see Fisker really coming after this high, which is about $30. It's going to take a while. And one of the things that we need to pay attention to is the vehicles actually coming out and rolling out. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to is in November, I might be going to an LA convention and possibly, who knows, maybe test drive one of these Fisker Oceans. We'll let you know how that goes, guys. At the end of the day, I'm going to be paying attention to that conference because there's going to be a lot of action in the fourth quarter for this name. And that's going to be a lot of pushing and promoting that, hey, let's come drive an Ocean, check it out. And who knows, maybe this really does get that pickup. One thing I will state is this stock has had that 1 rip out, 2 rip outs, 3 rip outs. The real key is that it just holds support every time. As long as it keeps holding support every time, it could get another push on up and then break out of the symmetrical triangle, getting us up there towards 22, 24s. I'm going to be watching FSR. I do like it. I can't blame for anybody that doesn't like it. If this is not for you, that's okay. You know, one of the things is with the EVs, you're not going to be 100% right. I do advise to get a basket of these, not just one. For a while, I like the Chinese names, but they're coming down right now. Lucid's coming down. A lot of the EVs are actually pulling back right now. So this is the time when you want to be looking at what do you want to attack for the long-term trade, not necessarily where the stock is trading at this moment. Backyard, you sold Genie a couple days ago. When would be the next best time to buy again? Well, for me and Genie, I really paid attention to the 1 hour chart. And there's and on the 1 hour chart, you can kind of draw this trend line moving on up. And that's really what I'm focusing on. Let's take a look here. I'll kind of show you right quick. All right. So one of the things that I like to use, and you guys know I use this often, is the 1 hour chart. So the 1 hour chart, you need to look for some kind of the push ups and the pullbacks. Where do they hold and where does it get to? So right now, we actually pushed on up here from this kind of 21. We had a push on up, a pull back, push on up, a pull back, push on up, a pull back, push on up. Now a nice pullback here. The big thing, we don't want to see these lows get cut. So right now, you have a low here on the hourly of 1668. We don't want to see that break on the downside. We actually want to see this kind of reverse. It's okay if it gets here into this chop, but once it comes back towards that line, we want to see it get really above 17 and really start holding. Let's see if this happens on Genie. And that's how I would attack it. Off the 1 hourly supports, you got different levels to go off of. You can go off here, 1666. You can go off $16. And then below that one, we had kind of this low that it would actually just be, you could pull that low right here, the 1528. And so those are the next levels down. We want to see it hold one of these supports and bounce right back up. All right, looking like a lot of people talking about Holly. Let's take a look here at Holly. Holly's been pulling back right now. It was in a really, really hot industry for a second there. And I think the industry is kind of slowly just going away. The big question is, does it hold support or does it crack it? Right now, it's kind of setting up for a reversal sign. It's kind of giving you that look that it does want to come back here, as you kind of can see this one up, one down look. Then we come sideways all the way up to this second up move. Now we're building that support here, that second down. The big key is, are we going to come back and trend on up here towards the 1050 mark? That's what I would want to see. I'd want to see it just scoop here off the 1080s, then get back up there above 11, testing up there to the 1150. There you go, Carl. I did a little bit on HLLY there. PRTA is actually one that's starting to get on my radar. It's PTRA. I don't know why I put PRTA. Getting dyslexic here. Let's take a look here. What do we see? We're actually below $10. This is what I wanted to see. Let's break the weekly low on this stock and then recover it. Now that we're below $9, I'm going to actually start looking at this one, because I think you could start looking at this. Now, one of the things that I stated before is this broke down through the RSI at 10, 11, all the way down towards 13. Let's get it back down there below the 20 on the RSI, and then I'll start looking to start trying to call the bottom on PTRA. All right, I'm going to do one or two more, and then we'll start getting into the wrap up. I'll take a look at some of the SPACs that are moving right now, and we'll go ahead and get into the power hour up next, guys. ChargePoint's talking about it. For Triple D's sake, I'm not long FSR, not really a fan. Hey, I like it. I personally do. I would drive the vehicle. I think the vehicle is actually really appealing. If you haven't checked out the Fisker Ocean, you guys let me know in the comments after if you yourself would buy a Fisker. Check it out. Go to the Ocean. Go on the website. Let me know if you guys would buy it in the comments after the show. All right, let's go ahead. ChargePoint, want to talk about CHPT. This one looks like it's heading down also. Looks like we're heading down towards support. We had a big support here near this kind of 1950s. I think you might even crack that and be looking down towards a look towards 15, if not this support, 1255. Really doesn't look good right now. Looking like it's heading right back down. It actually bounced with an RSI here on the 19th of 1386. Let's see if we can get back down below 13, maybe a 10 RSI reading, and then see this come right back up. But definitely on the downtrend, not the upside. There you go. Covered that one. What's going on out there? Nothing on TDAC. Take a look right quick. I mean, it's really not moving much. I like the weekly because, you know, this one has this awesome side trend. But the question is, when is this one really going to lift? I would stay really tight. Maybe this low, you use that 1058 on the downside. If it cracks that, you're out. But it doesn't look bad if it comes back up to 13. So you're looking at a really tight stop out right now, maybe a 2 to 3% stop out for a move back up towards 13, which could be an 18% winner, 13 to 20% winner. That's not bad. I'll definitely be paying attention towards this one if it can turn around, but it really needs to start moving. Smart way to get to the comments, of course. That's what it's about. I mean, one of the things is I want to know your opinions. Your opinions matter to me. If no one wants to buy the Fisker, I might have to change my mind, guys. So tell me the story. Tell me what you guys see out there. All right, what's going on out there? What's up? What's up? Let's see what other stocks we've been mentioned here. NIO, not really a SPAC, so we're not going to get in towards that. Don't know why I want Tesla to hit 1,000 on New Year's Eve. Wouldn't be a bad thing. You could save that for Money Mitch if you want to talk about some stocks that are not SPACs. AVPT, one more by Hex. Let's go into that one. This one's all the way down towards 946. One of the things that I would point out, though, is let's look at the daily RSI. We still haven't cracked that 20 like we did last time. We got all the way down towards 6.4 on the RSI. Let's get back down towards those levels before we really start jumping in here. But I do like it in the long run. It does have a lot of benefits, and we're in a kind of a world that, I mean, cloud-based and security is going to be very important. I think you're going to see AVP just try down that 9, maybe get below 9, go towards the 8s, and then really quickly rescoop, get back above 10. With a lot of these, you have to watch the monthly candles, see if you get a green candle to show up, because a lot of these we've been seeing just straight down trend in the monthlies. Even when we get a bounce up towards resistance, we didn't continue going up to 14. Let's say we didn't go back up towards these levels. We turned around right here on this green candle and quickly came back down to support. All right, that's going to do it for us today on the SPACs Attack. If you guys have a SPAC that you guys want to see right here on this show, let me know in the comments also, because we'll reach out to that company and get some bigger interviews. If you guys have one, you haven't seen it here, let us know. Let's get that SPAC interview and get going. All right, that's going to be it for me, guys. What's up out there? Looks like some people are talking about SRAC, TBGY, EV box. Hey, take a look at these. Also, I mean, how's the bark doing? Ooh, look at that. The bark is coming back down. Coming back down. I'm going to be waiting for this one to get a monthly candle back up. Definitely, a lot of these are on the downtrend. You have to wait, guys. You have to wait. If you don't get that pull, if you don't get that change in the monthlies, just be patient. Be patient. All right, guys. Thank you, Daniel. Yes, I did this solo. I didn't want to leave you guys by yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll get into some more. If you guys want to talk about certain stocks, and maybe it's not SPACs, come to Money Mitch at 4 o'clock. That's when I go into stocks. I go into NIO. I can go into Plug. I saw some other people talking about AMC. Can't blame you. I mean, I called AMC on last Friday. That low I really liked. It started trending. That's when we got up through the 33 and it was at 31. Now we're trading at 37. I think you can get through the 40 on AMC. We'll see if we can get through that during the rest of the week. Like always, smash the like. I always appreciate you guys out there staying in the chat. We got over 300 people in here, so definitely let's get on up there to at least 100 likes for the day. I'll be wrapping up here. Just wanted to give you guys a update here of my positions. Actually, I got stopped out in DKNG today, and happy if you're out there, bro. I think it was because of you, but I won't blame it on you. I got washed out today, guys. It just came way too low here. Didn't want to see it come back down below 51s, and that's exactly what we got today. So I had to get out of the trade. Am I a little upset because it recovered right back up there? Yeah, it could get up into the green. But one thing I don't do, guys, and I've been trying to improve on this, is adding to winners, and I don't let the winners become losers. And that's what matters here. Even if you have to cut a trade because it's break even and you don't get the money, it's okay. It's okay. You just got to put your hands in the air and say, I had a good look and maybe the market just didn't work out. That's going to happen. You can't be upset about your trades. You can only take what was given to you and move forward to the next trade. And that's what we're here for. So come to Money Mitch at 4 o'clock, guys. I'll have another trade. I got some money. Got to put it to work. We'll see you guys next time on SPACs Attack. Up next, you got the Power Hour. Hopefully, they hear me and they start up a little bit early or on point. But like always, guys, smash the like, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time on the one, the only, the SPACs Attack.